Perfect. So welcome to our workshop about create to-do list with Vanilla JS. And well, first let me introduce myself. Let me share my screen. And just a minute.
Uh, Carlos, I think you had your mic off.
My micro is off. Are you hear me? No,
I can hear you.
you can't hear me. Oh, let me stop and do it again. Just a minute. The net, are you hear me? Yes. Oh, maybe
Yes,
it's
I can hear you perfectly.
okay. Yami, are you hear me now? Yami?
Are you there, Jamil?
Should I start? Oh, he's out. Maybe he down. Connection, network connection, maybe. Oh, he's back. Are you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, nice. So let's start. First, my name is Carlos Muniz. I'm director of engineer here in Portugal, Braga. Working for a company called Smith Micro, where our principal goal is protect family. How? With our app, we can control what they are seeing, where they are, and control also who is calling, blocking any call that is happening, things like this. So it's something that I'm very proud to work because the truth is we are helping keep the families protected. So it's something that I'm really very proud of working. Here in 4Geeks, I'm a senior mentor and giving class to all our students. And besides this, well, one more information to you. I'm a Brazilian and Italian. That's why I'm also here in Europe. About what we will do today here. We will do this workshop, and I've already sent in the chat the link. You can access the workshop with this link. Clicking this link, and we can open the workshop. Oops, let me allow Danielle to come. Welcome, Danielle. So this will be our workshop today. The goal of this workshop is presenting how to use just HTML and JavaScript to create a system that would allow you to store or to register your to-do items. So as you can see, it's in fact very common application where we have some concepts that we need to, and this is what we will do here today. I will present you some concepts to accomplish this task. Basically, returning back to my workshop, one of the first items that we will discuss is about array. Obviously, if I need to manipulate a collection of information in JavaScript, we use arrays. The second one is manipulating the DOM, the object of my HTML. So this is what we will learn with DOM as well. And finally, we will see a little bit about CSS grid to allow us to organize our elements in the screen. And also, we need to understand a little bit about hover so that we can do exactly this approach of after moving the mouse through the items, I can see the delete button. And the blur event or the events from JavaScript, and in this case, this is a special one. Well, it's common for us to see the click of the button, but the blur is not so simple or not so common to use. And this is another concept that you will see here a little bit along this workshop. So returning back to the exercise, basically the goal is open the template, and I will use Vanilla boilerplate. This will open our GitHub. And then what I will do here is I will create a new code space. Oops, sorry. First, as I'm using my GitHub, first I will create for my account the solution for this application, because I will not be able to apply this solution here. So I will use this template to create a new repository. So this is will be my first action. I will call this as to-do list workshop. I will keep it public and create it for us. I will also send this link in our chat so that you can also having the source code of this solution with you. So now, with my repository that I create based on the Vanilla JS hello, I will click on code and open a new code space. What this will do, it will create a VS Code for me. It will open a machine inside my browser and open this template project, in this case, my repository inside this area. Just a little second. So in this meantime, while the machine is open, let me return back to explain a little bit about the concepts that we will work today. So as I mentioned, first topic we will work with the array. Basically, we need to create an array to be able to add new to-dos in my list. So basically, the way to use it, where I can access some elements, is through this brackets. Yes, brackets. And you create this way and start to use it. As you can see, I'm inserting data using the method push. And I can collect information. I can collect from keys. I can collect from index. And what you need to understand a little bit about arrays is that we have a collection, and to access each element, I need the position of this element inside that collection. And another important information is that this position starts with 0. So the first element of my position in array is, in this case, 0. The second is 1, and so on. So these are the most important items that you need to understand through the array. And the length allows me to know how many items I have in my array. So obviously you see this while we will implement the solution. So let me confirm that yes, the application is running good. Let's continue. The goal here, as I'm saying, is implement this solution without any framework, only JavaScript. So And let's first take a look and see how this template works. We have a src folder inside this to-do list, and we have here 3 files and also a folder. The asset folder, where we have also the icon, any image that I can use. I will not use any image for this solution. We have the apps.js file, which allows me to work with JS. I have the HTML, that is the place where I will put all my HTML code. And we have the CSS file, where I will style my HTML. Sorry. So this will be the area that I will work. Let's start with the JS. As I'm saying, the first thing that you need to have is your array. You need to have an array to be able to do your to store all your information. So what you need to do, in fact, as you can see here, we have import bootstrap, which is not necessary. I will not work with bootstrap for this solution. Import CSS. Yes, I will need to import the CSS, so I will keep this one here. These 2 other files, it's not needed. I do not need to import this image. So this will be what my beginning. So what I will do here, I will create for my application my first array. And in this case, his name will be to-do list. And it will start empty. Okay. So from now, we do not have so much thing. And on this window on load, here we have a function. And what we are doing here, we are just writing the console, hello from the console. This is what we are doing here. What I will change here a little bit, I will just, instead of write hello from console, I will write console log. I will write here a message. In this case, to-do list content. And I will add more one item here, that is, it will be my to-do list, just for us to see the content. Finally, well, before I show this content, I will add a new information here. As I mentioned during the presentation, to add a new information, I just need to do to-do list, push, and then I can put anything here. And then I will, in this first experiment, I put here task 1. Okay, so this is my first action inside app.js. In my index, what I will do here? Well, I will start cleaning the things here. First, I do not need, well, my title will be to-do list. To-do list. I will allow him to keep this information. There is no problem to have this 4Geeks, although I can remove it. I do not want to use this now. Then here we have this container, which I will remove basically everything, because I will start from scratch with you. Now I will save it, and I will just put here hi h1 hi from Carlos. Okay. Now to run this code, the README help us a little bit. It's asking us to first go to terminal. If your terminal is not appearing, you can go and just in this hamburger menu and ask for terminal and new terminal, and it will appear here for you. What I need to do here, I will following the README. I will write npm install, and then I will write npm run start. Just a second. And my application will probably appear here for us, hi from Carlos. But this is not the most important information that we want to show here. I would like to, I usually mention that when we are developing for web, we have a best friend. This best friend is called developer tools. And it's possible to find this easily from inspect. This is your best friend, the developer tool, where we have here the console. And in the console, it's possible for me to see the messages. And here we have the to-do list content, where we have one item. And this one item in the position 0, we have task 1. Because this is what I wrote. And let me return it back to the code. This is exactly what I wrote in my to-do list push. Okay? So now, what will you do next? Well, the next step here is populate. Oh, sorry. It's start writing the HTML. What will be inside the HTML? We can leave it this way. And how will be our HTML? I removed this everything from body because I want to be very clean in my HTML file. It's a best practice to try to reduce as much as possible your HTML to be as simple as possible. Okay, so what I will do here, I will follow exactly the strategy that usually we have in an application. We have a header, we have a footer, and we have the body, the content. For this, we have an HTML tag called header. Observe here that usually we'll present to you this error saying that something was changed in the application. It's happening because you are changing a file, but this file was not updating the server that you are using. So you just need to override, and things will be updated in your to-do list. Well, obviously, we didn't anything at this moment. So now, inside header, I will put my h1. Oops, sorry. h1. And inside this h1, I will put my to-do, again, to-do list. Now, this is my header. I will have a section. Oops. I will have a section here. And I will have a footer. In this footer, I will write here, let me see, H2 maybe, or H4 to be a reduced one. Developed by Carlos Muniz. Okay. And inside the section, what I will include here? Inside the section, I will include the button that I need, the text box and the button. So first, oh my God, it's always refreshing for me. So let me start writing input. This input will be a text. I will include a placeholder. What needs to be done? What to do? It's an input task. And I will, yeah, that's it. I will include here also the ID of this input, where I will task input. Next step will be include something that will accommodate all my to-do list. Okay, we have lots of possibilities here. The common one is the UL tag from HTML. So I can go here and add UL. And this UL, I will keep it basically empty because all the information will be populated through my JavaScript. And I will add more one item that will be my span. And this will receive my number, my total of tasks that was created to that moment. So this is my HTML. Let's take a look. I will override again. Let me go back and refresh my screen. Now I'm seeing, oops, let me remove this so that you can see this better. So I have to do, I have the what needs to be done and developed by Carl, the footer, the header, the section, and the footer. Okay, now let's go to the JavaScript to implement what I will do when I write things here. So going back to JavaScript, going back to the JavaScript, by the code, here's the code, sorry. So now I'm going to JavaScript, and what I will do here, well, obviously I will do something different than just unload, write in the console the list of to-do list. In fact, this is not important for us, and in fact, we can even remove this. So what you need to do, we need to populate the content of my UL. So the first thing that I will do is select that object. Oops, I forgot to do something. Let me add inside the URL a class so it will allow me to, from JavaScript, collect this information. So here I will put to-do list. And for this span, I will also add, I'm sorry, I forgot to add this for us. And here I will put total to-do list total. Nice. Now we can go and starting collect things. We have the task input, we have the to-do list, and you have the to-do list total. So what will be our action? Well, first thing, we need to, when we go outside this input, I want to add a new task in my URL. So this will be my action. First, inform to my input that they will receive a new event. So I will start work with my DOM to collect information. And in this case, for this specific case, I will use the document.get element by ID. So my first action here, when I load my page, I will create an input where I will collect get element by ID, and I will pass my task input. Now what I will do? Now I will create for this input an event, so that every time that that event happens, something will occur. So to do this, input, add event listener, and then I will create this event. For this, first thing I need to define the type of event. And in this case, the event will be the blur. And now what I need to do is define the function. What will be this function for us? So this will be my event parameter. And now I'm using arrow function, oops, yes, to define what I will do inside this add listen event. What I will do here? Obviously, the first thing that you will do is check if that value is empty. We have, first, let's get the content, okay? So let's create here, let's content equal ev target dot value. This will give me the data that I will put in the input, in that input tag. Then I will check if I have data. Content, sorry. If I have data, I will go to the to-do list and push that content. And I will clean that event. That input, sorry. Okay, let me override here. Well, in fact, you do not see anything yet. Oops. Sorry, I put context. Let me return back and correct here. It's not context, it's content. Fixing it. Now running again. And that's it. Nothing's happening to my code yet. Where is this value? Where are this to do? Well, I did not populate yet. So what I need to do? I need to call here. After this add, I need to create something that will allow us to populate my my UL. So, well, I could write the code here, yes, but I would use this also in another place. So that's the reason I will create another function. Well, to create a function in JavaScript, we can do this function load to-do list. And let me open here. And this load to-do list, I will call here as well. Load to-do list. Because after I include, I will also load to-do list. And what are you doing load to-do list? Basically, I do two things. First, I need to get the element from my system. Very similar to the document element by ID. But now, instead of using the ID, I will use the class. Remember, in the HTML, for the UL, I use the class to-do list. So I go back here and create another variable, UL element, and this will be called, I will call document query selector. This will allow me to select the first element with the to-do list class. Another thing that I will need is the span element that I also set in the HTML. So let me collect here span element, where this will be my document dot get. I think it should be also the same thing, right? Let me see. I create it as my class, so it will be the same approach. Let me copy here, just to not generate any kind of confusion. And now what I will do? First, if my to-do list is empty, how can I do this? Well, we have in array the property length. So I can check if my to-do list length equal 0. This means that I will check if the length is 0. And if it's 0, I can go ahead and just add elements in HTML, and inside UL, I believe you know. If not, I need to include an element called IL. So in this case, I will create here IL element, no task, and I will close this IL. So now I should start seeing something in my application when I run this. Why? Because, in fact, in the first moment, oh, sorry, this is not true. Oops, what's this F? Okay. Oh, we have an enter here. Oh, okay, I need to override because in the server was updated. Let me run again. However, I have here the push for the first one. Let me remove this push. And now I should see when I restart this application. Oh, obviously. Why I'm not seeing any change in my application this moment? Because I called load to-do list inside my blue event. I need to call my my load to-do list also outside this load event. So I collect this and put this in my begin. Return it back, and I believe now I will be able to see no task in my application. So my JavaScript is kind of working at this moment. Now what I need to do, if it's not empty, I need to do something. So what I will do next is just go ahead and write here also return, because in this case I do not do anything else. Now, well, first, as I'm doing this at this moment, it's interesting for me to clear this URL all the time, because if I load again, it will write this data again, and we do not want to do this. We want to do this just one time. Okay, now what I need to do, the array offered to me the for each function, which allows me to go through each element of my my array. Using this function, I can access to each element and populate my UL like this one with this technique. Let's do it. So basically, what I would need to do is, obviously, let's also populate our let's populate our span with some with the technique of adding the quantity of to-do list. As it's not empty, we need to know how many exist. So I'm going to the system and write here to-do list dot length. Then I will write also left. I heard a sound. Anyone would like to ask something? Oh, someone has just entered. Okay, let me return. Welcome. and return to the code that we are doing. What I will do next here is close this, save it, and now if it's empty, if it's not empty, the first thing that I will do is populate the span with the content of the quantity of the elements item left. Okay. Probably we can see this working. Let's see. Let me override. Let me go back to the code. Refresh. Beautiful. Oops, something got wrong here. It seems that I'm missing something. Let me see. Oh, I could not find a span element. Okay, span element is null. It's probably because I did not. Oh, see that I miss here the dot. I'm trying to select the dot with the dot, right? So let me do it again. And now I have one element, two elements, three elements, four, and so on. What's missing here? Well, missing, okay, let's add each one of these elements. Okay, now, as I told you, we will do the for each inside each array. So to do this, we'll do to-do list, oops, to-do list dot for each. Now I will be able to access each element. So I need to define the parameter for this function. It's a function. And in this case, I will define the parameter to item. And now I need to open because I will do things here. What I will do? Well, different from this one here, I will create this li element with the DOM. So I will create an object, li element equal document dot create element. And which element I would like to create? The li. I will create this li, and I will add inside this li the to-do, the item, that the parameter that I just passed. This for each, what we will do? We will pass through each item and populate item with the value of this each element of to-do list. So now I will add here li element dot inner HTML, and I will add here item. Done? Not yet. Why? Because what I need to do as well is adding this element to the UI list. So I will select the element and I will append child inside, and I will put the RL element. With this, I believe I will be able to see my list going on. Okay. Nice. Nice. Perfect. It's working. But we have more challenges here. We also want to remove each one of these elements. Returning back to the code. Now we are in this for each. Inside this for each, inside this element, what I want to do, I want to add more one element. In this case, I want to add a button. This is what I will do. I will add to my li the button that will delete the information. Okay, now I'm opening here a new line because I will create a new element. So let me create the button. oops, what is this happening? Uh, let button element equal document create element button. So now I'm creating the button element. What I will do in this button element, I will basically add a new event for this button. So button will receive a new element. For this, I have the add event listener. And in this case, instead of using the blur that outside that task, that input, I would be able to call something, I will use the click, the common one. And what should be my function? Okay, I do not need in this case to pass the parameter because I will not do anything with this. And then I need to do something here. What should be my action? Basically, I need to remove an element from my array. So first thing that I need to do is get in the position. To get the position, so I will create here another element, position, and I can do this by doing to-do list, index of, and then I can have here the item, which allow me to get the position of that item in my array. With this, I can call a method that is called splice to delete that position and how many ones I want to delete. Just that number, just one. In this case, I will do the to-do list dot splice, and then I will put the position and how many I want to delete. In this case, I just delete one. After delete, what I need to do? I need to load again my list. Because this event, this click, will reduce my array. So my list needs to be updated. So I will call again load to-do list method. Again, I'm doing this inside my new event listen for the button. What more I need to do? Well, I need to add the title of that button. So button element dot inner HTML will receive the delete, and I will append this inside my li element. Append child button element. And I believe we are able to check if now I have this delete button. Let's refresh the screen. 1, 2, 3, and then let's delete. Worked. One thing that is not good, as you can see here, the span is not updated for the last one. Why is this happening? Let's go to the code and check. Because I have the span here element with the element, but if it's empty, I'm not clean. So as I'm doing here, the clean of the UL element, I should do the same for the span element. And if I run again, perfect. No problem anymore. Next step. So basically, I believe my code is complete. I do not need, at least for JavaScript, to implement everything that we need. So let's let's resume here everything. When I load the page, I will load my to-do list. Well, this is maybe we could not need this anymore as we are not populating this from another place. So in fact, this one we can remove because this will just feasible for another place. Now, when I load, what I need to do, I need to add from my task input an event so that when this event happens, and this event was blur, that is the unfocus, and for this, I collect the value, I add this in my array, and then clean my object, finally, load to-do list. What my load to-do list apply? First, collect the elements, UL and span. And inside UL, in fact, the first thing is clear everything. If it's empty, just add in my UL element the no task. If it's not, then I start add, okay, how many exist? And for each one of them, what I will do? In this case, I will create a new LI element and then also create a button. And inside this button, I will remove, this button was created to remove from the array the information, and I will need to reload my to-do list again, so that would remove that information. Finally, I put the title of that button, append to the LI that button, and finally append to UL the LI element, sorry. So that's it for JavaScript. Well, one last thing that obviously this application is not so beautiful, and obviously it's important to mention that I'm not so expert and not so beautiful. My background is more for backend developer, so I'm sorry to not put this in a perfect way, but we can improve this a little bit, and this is what I want to share with you. First thing that we will do is, okay, let's define things here. So let me go to the code, and now let's style our HTML. Everything is working in my app. Now I will style my HTML. Well, I can remove this bootstrap. As I'm saying, I do not want to use framework for now. And well, my first action will be at the body. My body element will have the margin. Oops, margin 0. Margin. Oops. Margin 0. We'll have padding 0. It's a common practice for all the application. I define a font family. So let me choose one here. Yeah, let's use this Arial. And then let's remind here what we have. Inside the body, what I have? I have 1, 2, 3 elements: header, section, and footer. So using the grid CSS, I can define the display grid with the template row and some definitions, so that I can, for example, present my elements in different places. So this is exactly what I will do here. So returning back to the code, my CSS, and inside this display body, I will add the display with the type grid, and I will use the grid template rows. And in this grid template rows, I will put the min content for the header, one frame for the section, and min content for the filter. And the min height of my application will be 100% of my view height. Okay, let's see what's happening. Going back to my application. Oops, something got wrong here. Let me see. I'm not seeing anything wrong here. Body, CSS body. Oh, okay. It's just because it was reloading. That's why. So as you can see now, things are more, let's say, separate. Now let's style the header for us. Well, I will do most simple as possible. Okay, header. So my header will have padding 20 pixels, and I will put just a background color. And in this case, I use this color. For the foot, I will do the same. Let me override. Let's see again. And now, oh, my application's kind of better. Let's say this way. Nice. Okay. What more I want to do? Well, let's set the section. Okay. And let's go back to the style. And my section will be basically padding. I will put the same padding. Oops, inside, my friend. Padding to dots, 20 pixels, whatever. And my section, my width for my section will keep 100 view height. VH. Okay, now let me override here. Let's see again. Okay, well, things are better. Then I can style also this item here, right? Because this is LI, and the LI basically have a style by default, and this is what you need to fix. So to fix this, basically we can create another one just for list, and list style none. With this, in fact, oops, override. Going back to application. Oh, nice. Well, we can also do, well, at least a padding for the button, right? So for this, I can go button. And I would say that you should do a padding left. Oh, where is this padding left? Padding dash left. Padding left, I will put here 10 pixels. And now I need to rewrite here. Oops. Padding left for the button. I believe this does not. Oh, not padding, sorry, margin left. And now it's at least a little bit more separate. One last item that we should maybe present to you guys before we close is the concept of hover. As you can see here, we have the button delete. But in the exercise, the goal here is present this button only if I pass my mouse through the item. To do this, basically what I need to do is define that when I am inside the li and a button, the button should not be displayed. So li button, so display none. And with this, if I go back, now no button appears. This is not good. Now what I will do, when I hover the li, the button display will be appear for us. And then I can keep the same type, in this case, block. So now if I do li hover, so when I hover through the li, the button will be displayed, not in line, but blocked, as usual. Let me go back to the code now, and let's see if it is working. See? And then I can remove it, can remove it. And that's it, guys. That's what I would like to share with you today. Well, we can also improve this a little bit more. Obviously, there are a lot of improvements that you can do. But I believe this is sufficient to close this exercise. Anyone would like to do any question for the code? No?
Thank you, Carlos.
So I will commit this code, okay, and save it for you and anyone else that would like to use it. Saving workshop live code. And now you can have your code. This is just to fetch if you want, no problem. And now you have in this to-do list workshop, you have the code that we just write together here. Now, okay? So, Yamil, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carlos, for this information. Very useful.
I hope you enjoy.
Of course.
Annette?
Thank you.
Okay. So I will turn off the recording.